News update, is it now? A thought for my pals who support Ipswich, who were unlucky yesterday, I think. Tonight we have a session for you from Talulah, Gosh, the first one they've done for this programme, in fact, and a repeat of the recent one from The Very Things. As always, some intriguing records. This one seems to be doing quite well on import at the moment.
Here I am, R.A.W., a terrorist, here to bring trouble to phony MCs. I move on and seize, I just conquer and solve another rapper with ease. Cause I'm at my apex and others are below, nothing but a milliliter. I'm a kilo, second to none, making MCs run, so don't try to step to me, cause I ain't the one. I believe rappers just like Tylenol, and they know it, so I don't see why you all try to front, perpetrating a stunt, when you know that I smoke you up like a blunt. I'm genuine like Gucci, raw like sushi. The stage of rage is what rap did to me, to make me want to create chaos and mayhem. Cold rock a party until the AM. I'll make a muscle, grab the mic and hustle. While you stand dazed and amazed, I'll bust a little rhyme with authority, superiority, and captivate the whole crowd's majority. The rhymes I use definitely amuse, better than Dynasty or Hill Street Blues. I'm sure to score and door for more without a floor, cause I get raw. Like a reverend, rapper start severing, and in my lifetime, believe I've never been beaten or eaten and just tooken out. You know, come to think about it, I keep MCs looking out and real nervous when I'm at your service. So give me that title, boy, you don't deserve this. I work like a slave to become a master, and when I say a rhyme, you know that it has to be perfectly fitted, cause I'm committed. The entertainer and trainer and Kane are get with it. I go and flow and grow to let you know I damage you. I'm not an amateur, but a professional, unquestionable, without doubt, superb. So full of action, my name should be a verb. My voice will float on every note when I clear my throat. That's all she wrote. The minute that the cane starts to go on, believe it's gonna be smooth sailing, so on. As I put other rappers out of their misery, get them in a battle and make them more history. Ruling and schooling, MCs that I'm dueling, watch them all take a fall as I sit back cooling on my throne with the bronze microphone. God bless the child that can hold his own, cause I can roar. Any good hit, any good hit. Chillin' like a villain. The meaning of raw is ready and willing to do whatever is clever. Take a loss never, and the rhymes I bust coming off as must, and I come off hard with rhymes that are odd. I rip the microphone and leave it scarred. Never smoking or hitting or taking a sniff. Only question MCs that be trying to drift. I get strong and titanic. You work like a mechanic. Make MCs panic. They all get frantic and skeptic. Like a girl on a contraceptic. As I rock, but hey, what you expected? I'll get raw for you just like a warrior. Rather like a samurai. And I'll be damned if I ever let a Fisher Price MC hang. The rhyme's a toy, nothing but yin-yang. So if we battle on the microphone, bring your own casket in tombstone, and I'ma preach your funeral. Tell me who in the world could ever come with more? I get raw.
Big Daddy Kane, and that's called Raw. I rather like the concept of my name should be a verb. There are the germs of a competition in there, a fun competition no less. I mean, what, for example, would be to Steve Wright or to Simon Mayo? No answers on a postcard, actually, but think about it, help to pass those long winter evenings. And the John Peel Roadshow was out and about last weekend and went to Scunthorpe, and I was asked to play this for members of the band My Foolish Friend, who hope to have a single out before the summer, they tell me, The Wedding Present.
Oh, why do you catch my eye then turn away? I thought we said all the things we had to say. Sean said he saw you holding hands with your new friends. How does it feel to know you've just won again? Don't give me that, 'cause you were seen. Everyone thinks he looks daft, but you can have your dream. That book of yours and maybe this one too. Oh sure, I'll bring them round tomorrow if that will do. Was it really full? They must have queued there since 3:30. Oh, I didn't go. Was it a good film? Oh well, that's just me. Don't give me that, 'cause you won't see. Everyone thinks he looks daft, but you can have your dream. Or you can have a dream. By your old house just the other day. That kid we used to think was mad, but now it looks okay. I think someone's here, right at the window. I can't make out who. Oh, I'd love to stay, but I've really got so many things to do. Don't give me that, you were seen. Everyone thinks it looks daft, but you can have your dream. Don't give me that, 'cause you were seen. Everyone thinks it looks daft, but you can have your dream.
Festive 50 faves, those are the wedding present. Everyone thinks he looks daft. And just before Christmas, I took up the phone in Walter's office, and it was Amelia Fletcher, and she said that her band would like to do a session for us because they've got some thrashy numbers that they wanted to get down. And we thought, well, why not indeed? So here are Talulah, gosh, and this is World's Ending.
To watch their shot, had that they still stand. This may be true. My world is ending with you. My world is ending with you. My world is ending with you. They went into the garden.
Tiptoeing Through the Tulips with Talulah Gosh in session, and that one's called World's Ending. And also in Scunthorpe, I was asked to play something by Fields of the Nephews for Emma from Paul, Batch, Chris and Haley, but they're not particular favourites of the programme, so instead this is Big Black. Autocratic or what? I mean...
I'm mean as blood. Where I blow out come spiders. Where I step a weed dies. No smokes with diapers for Pete. King of all detectives. Fall down on your knees. Fall down and worship King Dick.
Broken man, my business walks out with a colored man. I have no shame, I'm a hard-working man. I have my pride, I'm a straight-standing man. I am Pete.
Does end suddenly. That's Big Black and Pete, King of all detectives from, well, last year from Blast First Records. And I hope that what I mentioned last week, that I'd read in the paper about them delaying all of their releases for the first couple of months of this year, is not actually true, although there's some that they're going to come out anyway. I mean, there's a Head of David record and lots of other good stuff as well, I think, in the works. Jonah Moyo, and this is Fundisa Lomo Wacko.
Sondanelami kodwa isikolo sakho owasenzayo asilunganga. Khangela lambe sengisonda ngumngani wami wasekiseni phezulu kwakho wena umuntu omqamba amanga. Amanga onke wawatshoyo wacabanga liqiniso kanti mina enhliziyo yonke angikutshongo. Amanga onke wawatshoyo wacabanga liqiniso kanti mina enhliziyo yonke angikutshongo. wako sio sami. Fundisa mlomo wako sio sami. Akulunganga sio sami ukamba manga. Akulunganga sio sami ukamba manga. Kusasa uzangu kwako kukukyupe. Kusasa uzangu kwako kukukyupe. Tunasaba silati ukamba manga. Tunasaba silati ukamba manga. Fundisa mlomo wako sio sami. Fundisa mlomo wako sio sami.
From the LP Taxi Driver, Jonah Moyo and his chums, and Fundisa Umlomo Wacko. And I had intended to put in one or two records by Echo and the Bunnymen, or at least one record by Echo and the Bunnymen, because I went to see them on Thursday night with our William. And he thoroughly enjoyed it. He was a bit, because he was the youngest person there by a good 5 or 6 years, I'd have said, well, 4 or 5 years anyway. And he was slightly disconcerted by the number of people and the way they were behaving, particularly a rather intoxicated young woman who insisted on coming and leaning over him and kissing my ivy-mantled cheek, which he must have deeply regretted the following day, I'd have thought. But at the time, as I say, she seemed to be pretty much out of it. But anyway, I thought Echo and the Bunnymen, from whom I'd not expected a great deal, really, because I thought, big venue, big tour, they'll just coast through. And the last couple of records haven't exactly bowled me over. I mean, been nice moments and so on. And I know Janice would have profoundly disagreed with this evaluation of them. But when I saw them live, as I say, at the NEC Arena near Birmingham on Thursday night, very good indeed. I mean, they were really excellent. No messing at all, just got on with it, and I was most impressed. These are the very things, and this is Walking in the Sand.
Walking in the sand, he can hardly see to put one bare foot in front of the other, and the wet sand gives beneath them. Walking in the sand, there's a lapping of water somewhere ahead. The stars twinkle in a pretty way but don't look real. Walking in the sand. Walking in the sand. Walking in the sand. Now only just hear the car radio sinking in the sea and the wind. walking in the sand. Not far ahead there's a long strip of shadow in between the land and the sky, walking in the sand. Walking in the sand. Walking in the sand. Somewhere behind there's a car on the beach and its horn won't stop. And the open door flaps and bangs in the wind, splintering high gloss enamel pink. The hubcaps are chrome and under the sand. It's up to its axle. It's stuck fast and he knows, walking in the sand. 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 Walking in the sand.
Seems like the other day, my baby went away. He went away across the sea. It's been 2 years or so since I saw my baby go. And this letter came for me. It said that we were through. He found somebody new. Let me think, what can I do? Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. Remember, walking in the sand. Remember, walking hand in hand. Remember, the night was so exciting. Remember, the smile was so inviting. Remember, then you touched my cheek. Remember, with his fingertips. Softly, softly with me, with the lips. Whatever happened to the boy that I once knew? The boy who said he'd be true. Oh, what will happen to the life I gave to you? What will I do with it now? Remember, walking in the sand. Remember, walking hand in hand. Remember, the night was so exciting. Remember, the smile was so inviting. Remember, then you touched my cheek. Remember,
I think even my sternest critic would have to admit that that was a pretty good segue. Those are the Shangri-Las, and remember Walking in the Sand. And before that, the very things in session with Walking in the Sand. It's pretty clever stuff. A lot of thought goes into it. You know, depth. That's what it is, depth. Now, Cold Cut.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I'm your best friend back in town again to get you on your dancing feet.
They've got a hot one for you. Can you take care of it? They've got a hot one for you.
at this very moment.
Listen for the big five. Now who's checking the house?
That wicked plastic man.
It's really quite simple. He just mangled it.
That wicked plastic man.
The sound of now.
That wicked plastic man.
Listen for the big five. Now who's checking the house?
That wicked plastic man. How do they do that?
It's really quite simple. He just mangled it.
That wicked plastic man.
Oh my goodness.
You'll see, the plastic men are coming. They're coming.
I haven't
Plastic man,
Oh, curse it.
plastic man.
I've forgotten about that bit at the end. I think the Plastic Men are already here. In fact, Doctor in the House, and that's by Cold Cut. And after I played that last week, 1 or 2 phone calls the following morning from people anxious to get hold of copies of it. Fairly easily available, in the right places. And this next comes from an LP called Shall We Dance? What does that imply, all the right places? It implies not where you are, almost certainly. Elitist nonsense. Disregard that. And if you can't get hold of it, write and ask me and I'll send you information. Now, from the LP Shall We Dance, which features Joyce McKinney Experience, Nox Mortis, The Incest Brothers, and Decadence Within, this is Try, the Joyce McKinney Experience. Try, that's the Joyce McKinney Experience from the compilation LP Shall We Dance? More from that in future programmes. Tomorrow night, incidentally, it's Overlord X and Midnight Choir in session. And I know that nice Simon Mayo's played you a track or two from the second Firehouse LP on SST Records. This one's called Iffen. And I'm not sure whether he's played this track for the singer of R.E.M.
Say some words and make time now. Open up the symbol for these objects in your
A less tense LP than their first one, I think, but with a lot of good stuff on there. The LP's called If'n, IF''N, and that was Fire Hose, and for the singer of R.E.M. And I've been trying to phone Talulah Gosh, one of the members of the band, to find out if they've got any forthcoming entertainments, and so far the line has been engaged all evening. No reason why it shouldn't be, of course, but that's the reason I have no information to give you at the moment. But I'll persist. From Talulah Gosh, this is Be Your Baby.
And said unto them, Here are words which the Lord hath commanded, that ye shall do them. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day shall be the holy day, a day of Sabbath, a rest day for the Almighty. Whosoever doeth work, then shall be put to death. And work they shall put to death, he shall kindly, no fire, show your navigation upon the Sabbath day. Every time I hear the words, every time I hear the words, the words, the words, the words, the words, the words. Every time I hear the word, every time I hear the word. And the Lord said unto Moses, A32 table of stone, like unto first, and I will write upon them the table of words, that were the first table which so are breakest. And be ready in the morning, and come up in the morning unto the Mount Savior. Every time I hear the words, 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 the words. Word is wind but bloweth unkind. Every time I hear the word, every time I hear the word. And Moses gathered all his congregation of the children of Israel together, and said unto them, hear the word which the Lord hath command, that we shall do them. 6 days shall do all thy work. But remember the 7th day is a Sabbath day. Sabbath day. Every time I hear the word, every time I hear the word, every time I hear the word, the words, 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 every time I hear the word.
That Talulah Gosh number's still engaged, you know. The power of radio, it's terrifying, isn't it, really? I mean, it's a weapon in your hands, you know. You have to bear that in mind. Prince Far Eye, and Every Time I Hear the Word, and before that, Talulah Gosh in session, and Be Your Baby. And this next is one of 3 records that was sent to me over the weekend on shimmy discs from New York, run by a bloke called Kramer, who seems to be in most of the bands that record for the label. And this band is no exception. They're called Ball, or more accurately B-A-L-L. And the LP, it looks as though it's by Ball Period, but according to the notes inside, it's just called Ball, and the record is called Period, Another American Lie. And from it, this is Billy and the Comets. Hold on a second, this is Billy and the Comets.
Billy was a sailor, Marie was a schoolgirl. They met at the ocean, and now they're together. The radio was playing, Billy Kay was reading. Marie had just gone for a walk when the news hit the air. Speeding comets are coming, all the people running. Billy looked for his lover, I hope she's taking cover. All the town was in chaos. Hundreds of lives were lost. Billy looked for Maria. When he found her, he cried, cried.
Right, on shimmy discs from the LP Period, Another American Lie, that's Ball and Billy and the Comets. I must confess, when I saw the title prior to listening to the LP, I assumed it must refer to Bill Haley and the Comets, but obviously not.
birth of the boogie lick. Birth of the boogie. 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 The boogie woogie woogie beat. Then Joe got hip and he started to sing. The animals flipped and began to swing. Monkey, elephant, kangaroo, they all picked up on the boogie too. Birth of the boogie. 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 The boogie woogie woogie beat. Well, the animals are boogied all over the place. The rabbit spit in the bulldog's face. Joe kept a beating till the early morning, and that's when the boogie woogie was born. Birth of the boogie. 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 The boogie woogie woogie beat.
Rather a forgotten figure these days, Bill Haley, but once upon a time, when I was a young lad, he was, as I understand you now say, unutterably mega. Bill Haley and the Comets, and that was Birth of the Boogie. And these are the very things. And incidentally, I got a note here, I'm not quite sure at what stage in my travels I collected it, which says, please say hi to John Boardman, who listens constantly to your shows. Love from Janie. The very things, there's a ghost in my house.
There's a ghost in my house, the ghost of your memory, the ghost of the love you took from me. Our love used to be these shadows of nights that see. Time doesn't seem to erase the vision of your smiling face. Though you found someone new, I can't get over you. Well, there's a ghost in my house I can't hide from the ghost of your love that's inside. It keeps on haunting me, just keeps on reminding me. In my mind I know you're gone, but my heart keeps holding on to the memories of those happy times, to your love that once was mine. Though we're far apart, you're always in my heart. Oh, there's a ghost in my house I can't hide from the ghost of your love that's inside. It's still such a part of me, still so deep in the heart of me. I just keep hearing your footsteps on the stairs. But I know there's no one there. Every day I love you more than the day before. I'm sitting in my easy chair, I feel your fingers running through my hair. Looking down my coffee cup, I think I see your face rolling up.
Lost very things, and that's called There's a Ghost in My House, as I'm sure you realise, and a certain amount of information about their current activities, although rather dull, I must confess. It says very things currently working on a new LP, which is due out in February. They hope to line up some gigs to coincide with the release of the album. It's not very stimulating, that, is it, really? Not detailed in any sense. And still no information about the activities of Talulah Gosh, because although we got a message saying that they'd cleared the phone lines and were anxiously awaiting my call, they still were engaged. Perhaps I got the wrong number, or perhaps they're just being very post-punk, who can say? But I shall persist. This is I Don't Want to Have to Break Your Face. Not a threat from me, but the title of the next from Talulah Gosh.
One does not get nature like that, nothing to be curious for that. That which we found to be enemy. I'm sick and tired of you right now. I think you believe me, but I don't want to now. I got to tell you, look out of my face. 'Cause I don't wanna have to break your face. You won't ever regret not giving me things I used to you, and that makes me upset. But if it's a chance, can you give it to me? No one else can do yes. Maybe wanna get myself together when I shoot you in the face. For the first time, you love me sometime. I'm sick and tired of you right now. I think you better leave 'cause I don't like you now. I don't try to let it get off my case. 'Cause I don't wanna have to break your face. No, I don't wanna have to break your face for a second. You don't think that I say I love some of the music to my ears. If it's back up once, you hear me down my blues. I'm sick and tired of you right now. I think you better leave 'cause I don't like you now. I got to try to let it get off my case. 'Cause I don't wanna have to break your face. I won't break your face.
And that's the title of the piece, Talulah Gosh in session. I Don't Want to Have to Break Your Face. And I sometimes suspect that the requests that I'm handed at various events and in various places sometimes include requests for records which don't exist by bands which don't exist. And here's one for a record called That Man by a band with a name far too shocking to give out on the radio. And it's for Dawn and the Groovy Hoovers on your show this week. Well, I'm not going to spend the rest of the week looking for it because, as I say, I don't even know of the record. Here instead, though, and much better, I don't doubt, The Fall, Guest Informant.
Hashtag Steak Cog Analyst.
Still pickings. Cha, 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 cha. Let's dance, steak hog, analyst. 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 Yes, informant. Yes, informant. Yes, informant. Yes, informant. The color to the cheap hotel. I tried the badge. I wired the phones as well. Colonel Bugs Morelli was his motel. And not counted on. And not counted on. Yes, informant. Yes, informant. Yes, informant. Yes, informant. I've been split on. I've been counted on. And not counted on. And not counted on. Yes, informant. That's that steak hog analyst. That's that steak hog analyst. That's that steak. In the burning scorch of another Sunday over, the miserable Scottish hotel resembled a Genesis on Marillion 1973 LP cover. All the hotel staff had been dismissed. It was me, the Hoover, and the OAPs asked, could he turn killer? Thought, could I kill him? Pondered, or is he itinerant? But I guesses, just stay plug analyst. Guesses, stay plug analyst. Guesses, stay plug analyst. Guesses, stay plug analyst. Yes, informants. Yes, informants. Yes, informants. I could not comprehend. I could not understand. Who had not counted on? I had not counted on. Yes, informants. Yes, informants. Yes, informants. Yes, informants. I've been split on. I am first grade moron. I had not counted on. I had not counted on. Yes, informants. Yes, informants. Yes, informants. Yes, informants. I am first grade moron. I had not counted on. I had not counted on. Yes, informants. Yes, informants. Yes, informants. Yes, informants. I've been let down. I am first grade moron. I could not comprehend. I've counted on. Yes, informants. Yes, informants. Bastards, stay calm, analyst. Bastards, stay calm, analyst. Bastards, stay calm, analyst. Bastards, stay calm, analyst. Bastards, stay calm, analyst.
Pretty epic, I'm sure you'll agree. That's 51 minutes time, in fact. Cash Money and Marvellous. Play it cool, which you will, don't doubt. Too cool.
You want to live in this lousy world? Play it cool. Play it cool. Play it cool. Play it cool. Play it
Tick-tock, 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 you don't stop. Tick-tock, tock, 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 you don't stop.
Yes, the image I project is like a raging bull, but like the vines on happy days, hey, I'm just too cool. So cool, I gotta shout it and talk about it. The beat is so, no doubt about it. My name is Marvelous, and being cool is my role. And to top it all off, hey man, I'm cool when I stroll. Girls leaning on my shoulders when I'm writing my rhymes. I'm making love and drinking beer at the same time. Dressed sharp like a blade, my pockets are paid. Getting cooler and cooler, cause I drink Kool-Aid. I'm smiling and profiling GQ and always laying the cool Don wine, you know what I'm saying? Not a nerd or a wimp, a phony punk or a dud. Don't drink Miller's 45, just pass me a bud. I'm suave, smooth, and very bold. If Cool had a magazine, I'd be the centerfold. So step back, but baby pop, ain't no need to drool. It's just me, Marvelous, and I'm playing it cool, 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 cool. The cool part, the part that stuns your mind. my double words double mine, gasoline rhymes. The money making money's what I make. And you sucker rap suckers are the ones I hate. Marvelous, the mic, marvelous is my mic. My super rhymes all the time, ignite like dynamite in your town. All around in your town. Herbie Love rock the beat to my new cool sound. So if you're ever uptight, ready to fight, people play it cool and you won't get hype. Cool, check it out, deal with it, I mean. Throw your hands in the air and let me hear you scream. Cause I shake your body, I make your body shake. But take the chill pill, it's my Kool-Aid break. You're cool being smooth, that's what I'm about. The coolie bop, deaf rapper, and I'm rocking the house. Yes, I'm cool as ice, cause I shiver with chills. My rap is top A brand, boy, they're not no frill. Hey, my rap goes together like a ball in a glove. And me and Cash is cool, like Crockett and Tubb. He's my DJ in the rear, who cut severe. He's tough like Marvin Hagler, but he has hair and can't nothing give me hype. I always stay calm, cause if you call me a name, I just say your mom. I never frantic or panic, no need, cause I'm a lover. And baby, let me tell you, that's word to the mother. Hey, I'm cool as hell, got clientele, cause I can even sing like Patti LaBelle. And when I walk down the block, all the girls go. My top hat, my dark glasses, and I'm playing it cool. So now you know I'm the coolest in Cash until the Vader. Time is up. Later.
Cash Money and Marvellous, bit old hat now, I mean, it's been out for 2 or 3 weeks, but played cool. I thought I'd give it one more run out, and as I say, that was for our William. I got the time check wrong. I should never try and do that. And I always laugh at the other DJs, because they have this machine in here which actually tells you what the time is. I mean, for people who can't read the clock, it's a little machine that says 7 minutes past 11. Actually, it's coming up to 8 minutes past 11. I can tell that on the clock, but I'm not very good at doing it backwards. So it's, well, I've now told you what it is. I'm not going to go through it all again. But it's interesting, actually, about like having a 12-year-old son. I mean, obviously, about to go into his 13th year, fairly logically. I managed to work that out by myself as well. And when I was driving over from our house to see the Echo and the Bunnymen thing, I was really grateful, because I don't think he's going to do terribly well in like exams and stuff like that. And I suppose I ought to be concerned, because that's the sort of thing, you know, that parents are supposed to want from their children. But I was just pleased that he's like a good bloke, you know, because we were chatting all the way there, and it really made some quite interesting and perceptive points and so forth. And I thought, well, I'm quite glad that he feels that he can talk to his dad like that, because for one reason or another, I was never able to talk to my dad very much. I can't remember talking to him for more than like 4 or 5 minutes at a time. Not his fault by any means, but times have changed. Anyway, so that's what am I talking about? I'll move on. This is Generic, Years Apart. Generic, that is, and that's from a 7-inch EP. Years Apart is the title of the track, and the EP is The Spark Inside, and my copy came to me from the Gangsters of Love at Looney Tunes in Scarborough. You probably know about them already. Dennis Binder.
I'm going to buy myself a pill, change away all my blues. I'm going to buy myself a pill, change away all my blues. Going to the liquor store, get me a jug of booze. Early time, make me feel alright. Early time, make me feel alright. Gonna find me a hunk of tongue, live until broad daylight. I'm gonna drink the whole night long. I ain't gonna stop until my blues are gone. I'm gonna buy myself a pill, change away all my blues. Gonna find me a hunk of tongue, live until broad daylight. Drink the whole night long. I ain't gonna stop until my blues are gone. I'm gonna buy myself a pill, chase away all my blues. Gonna buy me a hunk of tongue, live that broad daylight. Early time, make me feel alright. Early time, make me feel alright. Gonna find me a hunk of tongue, live until broad daylight.
Dennis Binder, that is, and Early Times, which comes from the LP. What was that last bit? I missed that. Ike Turner's Kings of Rhythm Volume 1 on Ace Records. And I've now found out why it was that I wasn't able to get through to members of Talulah Gosh, and that's because the wrong phone number was written down here on the sheet of paper that I've got. So just as well I didn't get through. Whoever it was who was in that phone would have been most annoyed if I'd phoned up and thought they were Talulah Gosh in the middle of the night, as it is to some people. The lineup of the band: Amelia Fletcher, guitar and vocals; Matthew Fletcher, drums; Chris Scott, bass; Peter Momchiloff on guitar, and Etna Farry backing vocals. They've got a gig coming up sometime in January in London. They were a bit vague about that, or Amelia was a bit imprecise on the subject, and then they're taking time off, doubtless to plot the overthrow of society, until, they say, July. From Talulah Gosh, this is In Love for the Very First Time.
I'm in love for the very first time. Love for the very first time. With this picture in the attitude, do I want you united? Oh, I miss you, I want you back. And that's fun. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da. Whoa, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da. Whoa, I'm in love for the very first time. Love for the very first time. With this picture in the attitude, do I want
Now, if I'd pressed the right button there, that would have been one of the great segues of our time. As it was, well, you heard the results. That was Dr. Derelict and Dance Doctor, and before that, it was Talulah Gosh in session, In Love for the Very First Time, and a letter from Steamer Bristol. No address given, but thanks very much if you're listening, Steamer. It's much appreciated. Now, Pig Bros, the new single, Just Call Me God, voiceover.
The
be put down. Don't want to be put down.
Had a belly full of rallying colours, but with an army of good men by his side. There's on the throne where the Lord used to reside. Said,
don't want to be put down. Don't want to be put down.
just call me God. Just call me God. Just call me God. Just call me God. Just call me God.
Only room for one of us, I'm afraid. That's Pig Bros and the abbreviated version, and that's, of course, you can from that you can take it as read that there is a longer version on the other side of the record, on Cake Records, that is. Pig Bros and Just Call Me God. Back with the Very Things in Session, a version of their recent single, Let's Go Out.
In the city, the sky is dark. Cars and buildings underground. In a crowded room, bodies glow. Burning roof, time to go, time to move outside. Let's go out. Let's go out. Smoking backbeat, fill the room. He sees her hair through the crowd. He reaches out, she slowly turns, holds out her hand. The voice cuts through the crowd. But she says, let's go out. Let's go out. Go out, let's go out, let's go out. Let's go out, let's go out, let's go out. She stands in a color splash, the colored steel shimmers past, swing lashes
going on wrong. I believe something's going on wrong. Oh, rock house, turning round and round. I believe my baby tried to do me wrong. I believe my baby tried to do me wrong. I bet you my bottom dollar man another meal keep me in my straw. I'm gonna get up in the morning, I'm gonna move on down the line. Yeah, get up in the morning, I'm gonna move on down the line. Old rock house done got rough, and I can't live here no more. No, I can't live here no more, man. I believe something going on wrong. How my baby done me wrong, and I can't live no more.
One feels instinctively, doesn't one, that Andy Kershaw would approve of that. John Lee Hooker, and that's Rock House Boogie. Preceding that, The Very Things in Session, and Let's Go Out. And I wondered, speaking of Andy, I heard him play a track by Elvis Hitler on his programme last Thursday. I heard, actually, about 4/5 of the programme last week, driving back from the Echo and the Bunnymen do, and a particularly good programme it was too. Genuinely was, very good. If you missed it, you missed a treat. And, as I say, he played a track by Elvis Hitler, but I wonder, does he know that there are 2 more tracks by Elvis Hitler on a compilation LP called It Came From the Garage Volume 2 on the same record label, but it's not one of the Elvis Hitler tracks that I'm going to play now, but instead a track by a band with the perfectly extraordinary name of 52 Devil Babies Born with Tails. This is Underdog. Even if it was terrible, it would be destined to get at least one play on the programme. It's another one that fades in, I'm afraid.
Oh
Right, that's Underdog by 52 Devil Babies Born with Tails from the compilation LP. It came from the Garage, Volume 2. And all of these things derive from one small town, as far as I can tell. Andy found out where it was, but I can't find on the sleeve. But actually, hold on a second. If he can find out, I can. Come on, I'm not going to be beaten by Andy Kershaw. It's on Wanghead Records, anyway. And they see... Oh, there you go. Wanghead Records, New Boston, Mi. Whatever state Mi is. Is that Minnesota? Could possibly be. I'm not quite sure. Not very good on that. And here's a track from the compilation LP known to be Down, and this one features, I'm struggling with bits of paper here, because this one features Sir Drew, Kickski Love, Tumour and the Fly Girls. And it says, Sir Drew takes us back to the old school style of rapping with a pulsating bass beat that adds emphasis to the serious, solid vocals. Well, well, well.
Come on, did you all go to that party last night? You mean the one with the guys from England trying to rap like they were from New York?
Yeah, those rappers
jamming.
from London, and we got so whack.
Wait, but
But
they're
that's
not coming
why
to New York. They'll get
Yes,
this.
big time.
They are so weak. Oh yeah, what's up with that? What? Ah man, them girls they told about nothing. Let me just prove myself to real quick. Rock the house, you know, swing, do my thing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You say Kickski Love till I rock the fresh rhyme. Take 'em back to the old school. Rock it up, kick it up, wherever I go. When I rock the beat, it's never too slow. Old school style designed to be rock. Invitation to rock. Hotline, mom, the ultimate level of rocking rhymes. Call me Lord when I rock shocking mom. Send a chill down your spine, from my head to my toe. Compliment, yeah, every drum roll. You already know that I can steal any show. Picking up the beat, never letting it go. It feels so good laying in my bed. In my dreams, I make the rhymes up in my head. You find me every time I'm live on the stage, cause I can rock, shock in a make. Come to the party just to tell you this. I'm down with the beat that will never feel this. Commercialization starts hip-hop. Suckers like the Beastie Boys destroy the crop. Promoted by Def Jam, the color of the skin is the only reason why they're making money, but they're not rocking. Turning noses up with brothers with the OG rhyme. Turning into rock and roll instead of funky bass lines. I'm not prejudiced. Run DMC, make more money than me. Don't get me wrong, it's not jealousy. The hip-hop world to me is precious. The one that gets over has to be the deaf. Not sell and play out when I rap they shout. That's not what poetry really be about. Yo, I like it since you went to Cooley High. The only Cooley High that you know is the Cooley High on the movie show. 4-star Cooley Highs in Chicago, Illinois. They wanna waste their time on a sellout toy boy. Is it really that tricky to fight Tony Basil Nicky? Sucker MC, bust the real nitty gritty. Just stay okey dokey, you get used to bring. Your rhyme had a clarity of something kind of slang. My ass you can kiss. Cause I'm down with the beat that will never feel this.
So what else you like?
Well, I know what I like. Break dancing on the floor and rock shocking the mic.
Well, what else you like?
Well, I know what I like. Graffiti on the wall looks out of sight.
Well, what else you like?
Well, my mellow, I like the ladies laying in the bed. When the light is low, I like going up and down just like yo, yo. What's up with that? Yo, style. Music, plug in the tape recorder. You start to rewind, Soul Train. Bronx rhythm, old school. You try to diss them, but you know they rule. Kick the bass, scratch the solo on top. When grooves in the house is forced to rock. I'm on the outside, looking in, trying to keep the same color of my skin. Nowadays, do you think they can hang? Zooted out of Mary Jane, yo, my man, too few. Bust the fresh vibes while I'm rocking this rhyme with the utmost pride. Too few. Bust the fresh vibes while I'm rocking this rhyme with the utmost pride. My mellow. On my mellow homeboy, I rock it out. Turning out the party, homie, I got the vibe. I gotta finish this tune with a little different rap. What it go like this and it go like that. I never diss the brothers that you miss. I'm orthodox rhymes, old school rock to this. Yeah, feeling good. What's up with that? Old school rock to this. It's like that. What into this rock, old school rock to this. Yeah, cold getting come in a place, no time to wait. Old school rock to this.
Do you realise the Pussy Galore have been playing in town tonight, and I've missed them? I should very much like to have seen them. That's Sir Drew and a bunch of other people. Old School Style is it, the title of it, from the LP Known to Be Down. And an excellent LP, actually. I've played you 3 or 4 tracks from it. You may not have noticed that. And all of them good, and more to come. And Walters was on the phone, actually, briefly while it was going on, to discuss the subject of states called MI, because the American Postal Service seems to have, I may have got this wrong, but they seem to have changed the names of all, not changed the names of the states quite clearly, but changed the abbreviations of them all to just like 2-letter abbreviations. So Massachusetts becomes MA, or is MA Maryland or Maine? But they all seem to have been abbreviated, as I say, to 2 letters. So MI could be, according to our calculations, and then we may have missed something. It could be Michigan, Missouri, Minnesota, or Mississippi. It's all very, very confusing. If anybody actually knows how these states are all, how they're all, what's the word I'm looking for? But anyway, how you describe them, as it were, in 2 letters, then I'm curious to find out more about it. Am I making any sense at all? Probably not. This is Asylum and Leopards. That's one imported by the Bravos at Shigaku on Asylum, not on Asylum Records at all, on Waterfront Records of Sydney, Australia. That is Asylum, and that was called Leopards. And this is the last tonight from Talulah, gosh, their first session for us, perhaps rather overdue, and a good one, I think, Spearmint Head.
I always thought it could happen
Talulah Gash in session. That's the last from them, which is called Spearmint Head. And I just uncovered a handmade card from Janie, who sent it from Edinburgh, saying, would I please play a record for Scotty, because it's his birthday this very day. Well, it's a bit late, but I hope this will do. From PK Chishana.
Kutwala pambiribiri awe ichupo ningama we muntu unesungelyashi telia kutwala pambiribiri awe Adamu na Eva ebantu bakachikabuza ababalile pwechupo oh yes tajali chupo chansere ngefifia lelo tachali chupo cha fyongo ngefitule mona lelo chali chupo cha nsekope hello Emma nalesa pamubofya tile maiti yangu ebeko mwaumeosha kashaba fyashi nukukamba tilo kashi necho ni nundo muntu echibulula ichupo ningama we muntu unesungelyashi telya kutwala pambiribiri awe ichupo ningama we muntu unesungelyashi telya kutwala pambiribiri yo ilyashi lyachiba lyakukati walileta batunanda ilyashi lyachiba lyakukutule walitwala batunanda mwaumya welyokoele mukono apabulala ilabe mailo elyashipachibwanse ichupo ningama we muntu unesungelyashi telyakutwala pambiribiri awe ichupo ningama we muntu unesungelyashi telyakutwala pambiribiri yo ilyashi lyachiba lyakukati walileta paveranda ilyashi lyachiba lyakumukutule walitwala paveranda mwaumya welyokoele mukunwa pabulala ilabe mailo elyashipachibwanse ichupo ningama we muntu we unesungelyashi telyakutwala pambiribiri awe ichupo ningama we muntu unesungelyashi telyakutwala pambiribiri yo sasa
More music for you from Zambia, this time from that Zambian compilation LP that I was featuring last week. PK Chishala, and that's called Sunge Layashi. And another letter which I've just uncovered while that was playing comes from Catherine, who writes to me from Tottenham, from Lordship Lane, to complain that her brother has just taped over several tapes that she'd got of various festive 50s, 85 and 86. I'm not quite sure that taping these things is actually legal, Catherine, but at the same time, most ungenerous of your brother. I think having a brother called Kenneth is probably where things have gone wrong, frankly. I shan't say any more on the subject in case masses of Kenneths gather outside Broadcasting House. They may well... Well, I haven't got much time, actually, 9 minutes to get down here, but nevertheless, one has to be careful. From the very things, she's standing still.
She's standing up way above the street, her head in the dark, but she can see a red tail light lines split the nighttime off. Speed colors blur, white knuckles trail. Turns her massive head so slowly at her glances, and she's standing still. She's standing up way above the street, her head in the dark, but she can see the lights race across her half-open eyes, her legs standing, a greater power lies. Turns her sculpted head so slowly at her glances, she's standing still. She's standing still. She's standing still. She's standing still. She towers above every building. She's in the sky. She's up there all the time. Red tail light lines split the city for miles and miles in the nighttime. 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 In the nighttime.
Those are the very things in session, and that's called She's Standing Still, the last from them pretty clearly in tonight's programme. And I'm always moaning on, as everyone does really, about the fact that there's no good music about at the moment, which is quite clearly not true. But in fact, I think at the moment there seems to be more stuff around. Well, what I find is at the end of each programme, I actually can't wait to get home and start putting together tomorrow night's programme. I mean, I know this sounds like terrible Bob Hope-style showbiz nonsense, but at the same time, it's true. You know, there's got a stack of stuff in there. Can't wait to get that out. I think, I should have played this tonight, you know, and so on. But so tomorrow night's programme is what I'm trying to say. Could be all right, with sessions from Overlord X and Midnight Choir, and as many good records as I can sort out during William's birthday tomorrow. This is from the Stupids, from their current LP, Jesus Meets the Stupids, Bug Blood.
Bug
come on, those lavatory noises. Silly, silly boys. Those are the Stupids, and that's from their current LP on Vinyl Solution. Bug Blood is the title of it. And to end tonight's programme, the Beatmasters and the Cookie Crew back again with yet another mix of rock to house. This one's called the Latin Beat Mix, and as with the other ones, it's perfectly acceptable. Beatmasters featuring the Cookie Crew and Rock to House, the Latin Beat Mix. This is you're listening. Tomorrow night's programme is Overlord X and Midnight Choir. Tonight has been Talulah, Gosh and the Very Things. Coming up shortly, the Midnight News Summary and William's birthday. Thanks very much for listening. Good night.
Chilling on the floor, see fake like girls, and they're looking for war. When they see me in a fake, they gotta stand back. They take a second look and then they try to rap up. They can't take my name 'cause I'm doing hip hop. SCDs in our face, just here to rock. So rock, 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 rock.
Radio 2.
The news at midnight. This is John Marsh. Fire chiefs welcome the government ban on high-risk furniture. An American oil company is faced with $85 million damages for the Amoco Cadiz disaster. A Labour MP is unrepentant after being suspended for interrupting prayers in the Commons. The government is to ban the use of standard and high-resilience polyurethane foam in the manufacture of household furniture. This follows a recent series of deaths blamed on poisonous fumes released when furniture caught fire. The Consumer Affairs Minister, Mr. Francis Maud, said the ban would take effect next year. Chief fire officers have been pressing for the ban, and the government move was welcomed by a spokesman for their association, Mr. Brian Fuller.
What it is a great win for common sense, and we're delighted that the Minister has taken such very swift and decisive action after our press conference last week. It's exactly what we wanted, and we're very pleased indeed. 90% of furniture has polyurethane foam in it, and I think anybody who's bought a furniture suite in the last 15 or 20 years will certainly have one which is dangerous. What they have to do now is make sure that they have a consciousness about the danger. If they have mechanical damage to it, they repair it quickly, and they install, as the Minister has recommended, smoke detectors in their home, which are very, very successful and will give them very early warning.
A policeman who knocked down and killed a cyclist while driving with nearly 4 times the permitted level of alcohol in his blood has been sent to prison for 4 years. At Aylesbury Crown Court, Police Constable Gordon Marshall from Buckinghamshire admitted causing death by reckless driving. After the hearing, the victim's widow, Mrs. Vera Roberts, condemned drinking and driving. She said people who could afford to drink could afford to leave their car at home and take a taxi. The American oil company Amoco has been ordered to pay $85 million in damages because of the pollution caused when the Amoco Cadiz supertanker ran aground in the Channel in 1978. The damages were awarded to the French government and the towns and villages in Brittany which were polluted. The award was made by Judge Frank McGarr at a court in Chicago, and the company is to appeal against it. Peter Ruff reports.
Judge McGarr called it a unique case in the law of liability. It had been so complicated it had taken him 5 months to consider it and allocate the money to each town and village. The award, he said, would be $45 million, payable in French francs, in compensation, and $39 million, which would represent interest on the money spent cleaning the beaches in 1978. He'd not awarded anywhere near what had been claimed by France because, he said, he had found a lot of the evidence exaggerated, and much of it had been hearsay. Representatives from France told me that they were glad to have received the award, but it was not enough to fully compensate them.
The opening in Paris of the trial of 19 members of the left-wing terrorist group Action Directe has been marked by scenes of violence in the courtroom. Several of the defendants were dragged struggling into court, and one of them was later removed after an outburst against the judge. The defendants are all charged with membership of a criminal organisation. The Labour MP for Coventry North East, Mr. John Hughes, has been suspended from the Commons for 5 days for persistently interrupting prayers, which precedes the start of business and is closed to journalists and the public. He was trying to raise the case of Matthew Mulhall, a 7-month-old baby in his constituency who was awaiting heart surgery at Birmingham Children's Hospital. Afterwards, Mr. Hughes gave the reasons for his action.
This is the only means that I have found possible to really draw attention to the problem.
Were you aware you were breaking the House of Commons?
Yes, I was aware, really. But nevertheless, I believe that it is wrong for someone of a religious order to get up and ritualistically give credence to some of the inhumane policies that are going through that House.
North Korea has just announced that it will not be taking part in the 1988 Olympics, which will be held in South Korea. The country has bitterly attacked the decision of the International Olympic Committee to concentrate the events in South Korea and not to allow the North a share. Police and army bomb disposal experts are investigating the cause of an explosion on a construction site at Normanton near Wakefield, in which 1 man died and 2 others were injured. One theory being looked at is that a mechanical digger may have disturbed an unexploded wartime bomb. The weather, the whole of Britain will become very windy with occasional rain in Northern Ireland and Scotland tonight. The rain will extend elsewhere later, but not reaching the southeast until evening. And that's the news at 12:05.
Radio 2, Brian Matthew.
Hello, and welcome back to Round Midnight, coming to you live tonight from the Theatre Royal in Newcastle on Tyne. If you've just joined us, perhaps I can explain, as I did at the beginning of the first hour, that lots of activities are going on lots of levels in this sumptuous theatre, like a party underneath us and around us.